One day, they just stopped responding. No fight, no explanation, no dramatic goodbye. They were just there, and then they weren't. And everyone around them had an opinion about it. Cold, selfish, broken. But nobody stopped to ask the one question that actually matters. What happened to them before they disappeared? Because people don't cut everyone off because they hate people. They cut everyone off because they ran out of something, and by the time they went quiet, they had been running on empty for longer than anyone noticed. This video is not about how to get someone back. It's about understanding why they left in the first place. And if you're the one who disappeared, this might be the first time someone explains it without making you the villain. There's a concept in psychology called emotional exhaustion, not burnout in the career sense, something older and quieter than that. It's what happens when you've spent years being the person who absorbs, the one who listens, fixes, stays, forgives, shows up, and holds things together for everyone around you, while quietly falling apart in private. You don't announce it, you don't make it anyone's problem, you just keep going, because that's what you've always done. And then one day, something shifts. It's not always a big moment. Sometimes it's something small, a conversation that goes exactly the way you knew it would, a person who takes exactly what you expected them to take, a situation where you watch yourself about to do the same thing again, and something inside you just refuses, not loudly, just refuses. Psychologists call this the depletion threshold, the point where the nervous system has absorbed more than it can process and begins protecting itself the only way it knows how, by withdrawing. It's not a choice in the way people think. It's closer to a survival response. The same mechanism that makes your body shut down non-essential functions when it's in danger. Except here, the danger is emotional, and the non-essential function being shut down is everyone else. What most people misread as coldness is actually the opposite. It takes an enormous amount of feeling to reach the point of total withdrawal. You don't go numb from indifference. You go numb from too much, for too long, with too little coming back. And here's the part that makes it complicated. The people who get cut off are rarely monsters. They're usually just ordinary people who were never taught how to give back at the same level they received. People who cared in the way they knew how, which wasn't always the way the other person needed. People who took up space without realizing it. And when the one who always stayed finally stops, they don't understand why, because they never saw the accumulation. They only see the ending. So, the person who disappeared gets labeled difficult, dramatic, too sensitive. And that label is the last confirmation they needed that leaving was the right call. Left unaddressed, this pattern becomes a permanent architecture. What started as a temporary retreat becomes the only mode of operation. The idea of letting anyone close starts to feel genuinely dangerous, not irrationally, but because the data from every previous relationship supports the fear. Every attempt at connection becomes a risk assessment. Every person a potential debt you'll end up paying alone. And slowly, the withdrawal that was meant to protect you becomes the walls of a room you can't find the door out of. This is where isolation stops being a response and starts being an identity. And that distinction matters, because one of them still has movement in it, the other one doesn't. So, what do you do when you've already cut everyone off and you're not sure you were wrong, but you're also not sure you want to stay this way forever? There's a practice I call the one door. Not rebuilding everything, not making yourself available to everyone who wants access again, just identifying one person, one who has historically cost you less than they gave. Not perfect, not ideal, just net positive. And opening one small, specific, low-stakes point of contact with that person, not a conversation about everything, a message, a question, a single sentence that requires nothing in return. The one door works because it doesn't ask you to trust everyone. It asks you to test one small opening without dismantling the walls. And what it proves, slowly, is that not every door leads to depletion. Some of them lead somewhere else. You won't know which ones until you open them. but you have to start with one. You didn't cut people off because something is wrong with you. You cut people off because something was wrong with what you were being asked to carry. And for a while, maybe a long while, disappearing was the only way to survive it. The question now isn't whether you were right to leave. The question is whether you want to choose who gets to find you next. Your mind just got a little darker, and that's a good thing. If this hit different, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss what's coming. And if you're not done yet, I recommend watching these two videos next. They will keep you up all night.